Today, we're going to explore what is, without a doubt, one of the most important systems for modern digital growth. Now, this isn't some new tactic or a clever trick. It's a deep, fundamental shift in how businesses need to see, understand, and ultimately serve their customers. We're talking about the customer journey map. And to really get why it's so powerful, we have to start by taking apart the most famous and flawed icon in all of marketing. That's right, the most popular visual in digital marketing, the funnel, is a lie. It's a clean, simple, and honestly a very comforting model that has been plastered on marketing dashboards for decades. But its simplicity is exactly what makes it so dangerously misleading. So let's unpack why. So in this first part, we're going to really dig into this illusion. You see, we have to understand why the old model fails before we can truly appreciate the system that has risen up to replace it. Okay, so on the left, you see the world as marketers want it to be, this neat top-down cascade. We run an ad, a person becomes aware, they consider our product, and then they buy it. It's logical, it's easy to measure, and it fits perfectly into a spreadsheet. But on the right, well, on the right is the customer's actual reality, which our own analytics prove is more like a chaotic, unpredictable scribble. People don't move in a straight line. They jump around, they circle back to awareness after they've already considered a purchase, they vanish for months. They're just influenced by so much more than our perfectly planned campaigns. This number just illustrates the problem perfectly. In the really complex world of B2B sales, buyers spend only 17% of their entire decision-making journey talking to potential vendors. Just let that sink in for a second. The other 83% of that journey, it's spent doing their own research, trying to get their team on board, reading reviews. It's all happening in the dark, completely invisible to the traditional marketing funnel. The funnel only sees that tiny 17% slice, which gives us this profoundly warped view of what's actually driving the final decision. And look, this isn't just some academic point. This deception is strategically dangerous. Because the funnel is so simple, it hides the real moments where customers are getting stuck or frustrated. It completely obscures why customers leave, because it's only obsessed with getting them to the sale. It gives marketers this comforting illusion that we are in control, that we're directing traffic down some predictable highway. But what we're really doing is optimizing for a ghost, a perfect linear customer that just doesn't exist. We're trying to force people down a path we designed instead of helping them navigate the path they've actually chosen for themselves. So if the funnel is so broken, where did the new model even come from? Well, the customer journey map wasn't just invented in some boardroom meeting. It was born out of pure necessity, forged in the fires of a massive economic shift. This timeline really tells the whole story. For decades, we were in the broadcast era. Businesses would use mass advertising to just spray and pray, hoping to land that one-time sale. But then, the internet happened. And suddenly, consumers had infinite choice, and that old model just shattered. The real game changer, though, was the rise of the software as a service, or SaaS economy. The subscription model changed everything. A customer was no longer a single transaction, they became a long-term financial asset, an annuity that you had to earn and re-earn every single month. And this created a brand new financial imperative. The focus shifted from the value of that one purchase to a simple but incredibly profound equation. A customer's lifetime value, or LTV, had to be greater than the customer acquisition cost, or CAC. In other words, the total amount of money you make from a customer over your entire relationship has to be more than what you paid to get them in the door. And just like that, retention wasn't some soft customer service goal anymore. It became the single greatest predictor of a company's financial health. So what exactly is lifetime value? Well, it's pretty simple. It's the total revenue a business can reasonably expect from a single customer over the entire time they do business with you. Maximizing this number became the new prime directive for growth, and you just can't do that if your only focus is that initial sale. Okay, so we know why the journey map was created. Now, let's pop the hood and look inside the engine. And what you'll find isn't a linear path. It's a living, breathing, iterative system, a perpetual data loop. This is the core of the machine right here. It all starts with attracting traffic that has a very specific intent, people who are actively looking to solve a problem. Then you have the trigger, that crucial low-risk commitment, like signing up for a free trial. From there, you move to conversion, where the system's whole job is to shrink the time to value, or TTV, getting the user to a win as fast as possible. Then comes the most important phase, retention. Here, the system analyzes when users are most likely to leave and automatically triggers campaigns to re-engage them. And finally, the loop looks for expansion,
identifying signals like a user hitting a data limit to prompt a relevant upgrade. And this is the fundamental takeaway. This is so important. The funnel is a one-way street, right? It's a chain of events that just ends with a sale. The journey map is a circular system. The data from retention and expansion is constantly feeding back to inform how you attract and convert brand new users. The system is always learning, always adapting. It's in perpetual motion.
But, this system isn't just about cold, hard data. Every single click, every metric, is a reflection of a human being making a decision. So to really understand the map, we have to look at the emotional engine that actually powers it. We're not just tracking clicks, we are decoding intent by leveraging these universal principles of psychology. The first key principle is reciprocity. You've probably heard of it. At its core, it's a deeply human tendency. When someone gives us something of real value, we feel this internal pressure, this almost social obligation to give something back in return.
So how do you apply this? It's actually brilliantly simple. You don't hide your value behind a paywall. The best companies, they front-load it. They offer a genuinely useful free trial or a really deep, insightful guide with zero strings attached. By giving real value up front, they build this deep reservoir of goodwill. And that triggers our sense of reciprocity, making us way more likely to return the favor and become a paying customer when the time is right. It's not about manipulation. It's about lowering friction by aligning with human nature.
The second powerful principle is consistency. We all have this deep psychological need to be consistent with our past decisions and with our own self-image. Once we've committed to something, even in a small way, we feel this internal pressure to follow through and act in ways that are consistent with that initial commitment.
And the perfect application of this is that tiny checklist you see all the time when you're onboarding with a new product. The first few tasks are super simple. Create a profile, invite one teammate, make your first note. By checking off these easy steps, we start to build an identity as a successful user of this product. And that small initial commitment makes us exponentially more likely to tackle the harder, more valuable actions later on because we want to stay consistent with that successful self-image we've already started to build.
So we've covered the why, the how, and the psychology. Now, let's turn all of this theory into a practical, actionable framework. There are really 3 guiding principles for moving toward mastery of the customer journey. First, design for clarity. This means you stop mapping your product's features and you start mapping the actual job to be done, the real problem your customer is hiring your product to solve. Second, you have to engineer early value. That aha moment, that moment of insight, it can't be delayed. You have to be ruthless about shrinking the time to value. And finally, automate feedback loops. When a customer gets stuck, that behavior has to instantly feed back into the system to trigger a relevant intervention, like an email or an in-app guide, making the whole journey self-correcting. At the end of the day, mastery means transforming your map from being just a reactive, historical record of what your customers did into a predictive blueprint that actively guides each customer toward the very next valuable action they can take. It's the difference between looking in the rearview mirror and having a GPS for the road ahead. And that brings us to the final, and I think the most important insight of all. All of this data, all the automation, all the psychology, it's all in service of one thing. The customer journey map at its heart is an empathy engine. This table just says it all. The funnel's perspective is entirely selfish. What do we want them to do? Its goal is to push a transaction through a process that we control. The journey map completely flips that script. Its perspective is selfless. What do they want to accomplish? Its goal is to pull them towards sustained value by guiding and assisting them. It is a fundamental shift from control to collaboration. And that, ultimately, is this system's true power. It forces an entire organization, from marketing and sales to product and customer support, to see the world through the customer's eyes. By meticulously tracking their progress and their emotional state at every single step, it aligns the entire business around one thing: the customer's success. This human-centric focus, powered by data, is what really separates the enduring businesses from the rest. Because in the end, the best marketing doesn't feel like marketing at all. It doesn't push people through a funnel, it pulls them toward value. It's not about making a transaction, it's about enabling a transformation. And the journey map is the blueprint for making that happen.